Hey guys, Channel MST here. Going to be bringing you a deck profile and a discussion. We're going to be going over Chainburn. So to start off with, I'll go over the deck list. We have 3 card D, 2 Lava Golems, 1 Marshmelon, 1 Morphing Jar, 2 Chain Strikes, 3 One Day Apiece, 3 Pot of Duality, 1 Scapegoats. Moving on to the traps, we have 3 Accumulated Fortunes, 2 Dimensional Wall, 3 Just Desserts, 3 Legacy of Yatagarasu, 2 Cylinders, 2 Trio, 3 Reckless Greed, 3 Secret Barrels, and 3 Threatening Roar. Onto the side deck, we have 3 DD Crow, 1 Marshmelon, 3 Maxx C, 1 Heavy, 3 MST, 3 Barrel Behind the Door, and 1 Mischief of the Yokai. Then for the extra deck, this is just here so that when you're playing an opponent and they see that you have an extra deck, they won't think, he's playing some random deck. If you want them to think that you're playing some random deck, then, don't play an extra deck. I just, don't want my opponent to know that I'm playing some random deck until they see the Chainburn, and they're like, oh, he's playing Chainburn. But until they see it, they don't know what I'm playing, so I could be playing Dino Rabbit, I could be playing anything, so that's why I have the extra deck here, just so I don't give out what I'm playing, or what I'm not playing, I guess. Okay, so moving on to the deck deck discussion. Chainburn was kind of good back in the day. In a lot of ways, it's pretty much like Six Samurai, where it had its original build. Six Samurai just was good kind of when it was played, when it first started. Then it just didn't have enough support. Had kind of slow mechanics about it. I think maybe Reasoning kind of went down. Monster Gate, I think those two might have gotten hurt in the process. So the deck just kind of got hurt and stopped playing. And in the same way, Chainburn was good when it started, but it had some really broken aspects to it. So to get around that, because Just Desserts did 25 damage, if they had 5 monsters, and Secret Barrel did a lot of damage, and Chain Strike did huge amounts of damage. That was the whole, that was one of the main burn cards, was that, along with the Just Desserts and the Secret Barrel with the Chain Burn. So they hurt the deck by bringing Chain Strike down to 1, and then they hurt the Just Desserts and the Secret Barrel by bringing Ojama down to 1, because that comboed with the Just Desserts a lot, and it also boosted this by 600. So they brought this down to 1 and this down to 1, and then Cylinder was at 1 and Marshmelon was at 1. And then in September of 2008, Chain Strike was brought up to 2. And then in September 2010, Ojama Trio and Magic Cylinder were brought up to 2. So the deck kind of got back some of its power, and then support started to come in the form of starting off with Pot of Duality. This is kind of when I came back into the game, because I took a break, and then I came back in and saw that this had gotten up to 2 and this was up to 2, and then Chain Strike was brought up to 2. So I started coming in, I put I built the deck, put Pot of Dualities in it. It was really good. And then Piper later came out, and then I had the Piper engine, so I was running 3 Cyber Valley, 3 Fader, 3 Scope Scarecrow, and 3 Piper. So I had 12 one-star monsters along with 3 Pot of Duality, and basically the deck had very good draw power. I mean, Piper had a close to a 1 in 3 chance of being a Pot of Greed, and Cyber Valley combined with Scapegoats or Battle Fader was a Pot of Greed. In addition, there was Pot of Duality, which also helped to thin out the deck as well. And combo, if you had a Fader in hand, you could get a Cyber Valley. Same if there was the opposite scenario. So it kind of helped even out the deck too. The deck wasn't like too consistent, but it was good enough, where it was really playing, really well. Then I kind of put Chainburn on the back burner, and I played Plants, and then I played other stuff like TG Stun, TG Beast, a little bit of Agents, a little bit of Chaos. And then I started playing a lot of wind-ups, and then more recently I've been playing a lot of Dino Rabbit. So I put Chainburn on the back burner. And then One Day Apiece came out, and then that's when kind of Chainburn started to get topping in the YCS. And I noticed that, and so I thought, okay, wow, I need to start working on Chainburn. And then I saw Card D come out, and I was like, wow, I really need to work on Chainburn. This card is going to push it to the next level. I still was just kind of doing Dino Rabbit testing. I never really got around to doing Chainburn. And then at the 100th YCS, the guy topped again, or another guy topped again with Chainburn. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to work on Chainburn. So then now I worked on Chainburn, and I've incorporated the card D because in his build he wasn't running it because it hadn't come out yet. And so, now I've put this in along with, other stuff. I kind of copied some of the stuff from the 100th YCS, like he was running 2-dimensional wall, 2-cylinder. I kind of copied that mechanic. He was running one marshmallow in the main. That's kind of copied. He was running 3 lava golem, which is I think too much if you're trying to run card E, because you cannot bring these out the same turn, because this one says you can't special summon, and this one says you cannot normal summon or set. So they basically, are exact. They go against each other. So I just brought that down to 2. And I'm also not running the, I think it's like Reflex or Reflex Slime, the trap card that becomes a monster, just because it takes up space, and I don't really think it's that good. And I also, brought it down to 40. Another key note is that Heavy Storm in the format has actually also made this deck a lot better, just because 7 Tools is now gone, and 7 Tools actually kind of hurt this deck in the way that it would break up your chain. So if you're trying to start chaining and then they go 7 Tools right in the middle, it would really hurt you, especially if they 7 Tools in Ojama Trio. That hurts a lot. So Heavy Storm being in the format also helps this deck a lot as well. It's another support card that, this being at 1 gives this deck a lot of power. Okay, so moving on to the side deck, we have 3 DD Crow. The reason it's at 3 is because of Insectors. 1 or 2 is good for the Dark Worlds, because Grapha combined with Eradicator Epidemic Virus would kill this deck, just because Eradicator would kill all your traps. So you DD Crow their Grapha, and that way they can't really do anything. I mean, they have Malefic Malefic Stardust, but unless they get that out and Eradicator, then they're not going to do anything. So most of the time it's going to be Grapha, and then they're going to have the Eradicator, and then it's going to kill you. So having set 3 is really good for that. Also, Insectors do hurt the deck a lot because they just pop all your back rows, so why do they even have to attack? They can just build up, and so they'd kill your cylinders, they'd kill your dimension wall, and it really hurts you a lot. So, and especially if you go Lava Golem, then they can just pop all your back rows and attack directly with Lava Golem. So that, it basically it's hurt a lot. So 3DD Crow really hurts their deck too, with the Hornets and stuff. So moving on to Marshmallow, and this is just for the extra defense and the extra 1,000 damage for decks that you don't think would be able to get around monsters that much or have problems with monster removal. And then we have 3 Maxx. This is kind of for the wind-up matchup and possibly for the Dino Rabbit matchup. I haven't been doing too much side deck testing just because most people don't want to play game 2 against Chainburn. So, but this is definitely for the wind-ups, just to really put them at bay, because when they loop your hand, that can really kill your deck, and it'd be really hard to pull back. So this is good for game 2 when you beat them game 1, and then they go first, and then you can just have this and this to kind of stop their loop. So that's why those are kind of good for that. And then 1 heavy and 3 MST for the Royal Decree. You might be able to go another Twister. The reason it's like not that big of a deal to go overboard is just because if they got Logia and Decree, you cannot play your trio, and if they don't summon anything else, since you can't play trio, you can't tribute the token in the Logia to bring out Lava Golem. So you're basically just sitting there. You can just add on the Twister, or play these, and so that way when they Logia one of these, you can just use the other one. And that's why I have 3, because I think in the 100th YCS the guy was only running 2 MST and 1 heavy, but I decided to go 3. He was also running Emergency Provisions. And just a quick side note, that does not work, at least I'm about 99% sure, because if you read this, they've rotted it, and it doesn't say all of their face-up trap cards, and Skill Drain has stayed the same way. It says all face-up monsters. This is more like Valor, because Valor can negate, card if you don't call priority. It can negate Stardust, it can negate Dino Rabbit if you don't call priority. But the reason Valor doesn't work on this or Dino Rabbit is because the player that's playing it, they call priority and they remove it before you can do anything, so you can't Valor it, basically. But Valor does affect the monster as long as the effect activates on the field, and I think the same thing with Royal Decree. So it doesn't stay phase up, therefore if the effect is activated and resolves in the field, it will get negated by Royal Decree. I don't think Royal Decree will negate the second effect here of Mischief of the Yokai, just because this is a graveyard effect. So therefore, this would not get negated by Royal Decree. But everything else that, any other trap card that activates and resolves on the field, whether the card itself is there, doesn't matter. If it activates and resolves on the field, it's going to be negated by Royal Decree. So that's why I'm not running Emergency Provisions in my side deck. And then we have 3 barrel behind the door for the mirror match, and then 1 mischief of the yokai. I'm just trying this out for Dino Rabbit because you get it twice. It adds on 2 chain links. The first one when they first go into Rabbit, and then you lower them by 2, and then they usually don't run gachi, so that's good. And then the second one, when they do maybe another Dino Rabbit or a tour guide or something, then you can lower one of the levels by 1, and that gives you 2 chain links. You get 1 chain link here, 1 chain link here. So it really complements the deck in terms of adding on chain links. Same with the Maxx and the DD Crows. And then another side note for the deck is I don't really like this card in the deck. I've actually, when I first built the deck, it was 3 jar breeds, and then I playtested like I don't know how many games, a lot of games, and I going 6-1 with the deck about, or 7-1 with the deck. And then I put in Reckless just with within the last 5 duels. And even though I don't like this card a lot, I realize that it's most likely better than running Jar of Greed, just because drawing 2 helps you pull off your combos with Accumulated, helps you pull off your combos with Chain Strike, helps you draw maybe a defensive card like this, or 1 day of peace. So these are kind of needed. That's kind of like Dark World, where this has a minus ability, but the deck has enough draw power to where it can actually pull back. And I think, this deck kind of, in a lot of ways, mimics Dark World, because Dark World has the problem of, it's got a major flaw, which is, Macrocosmos kills the deck, and, Dalka hurts the deck a lot. And so, this deck has the major flaw of, they get out Jinzo, or they get out a Decree and a Logia, you're kind of in trouble. And that's why I don't know if this deck will ever be tier 1 necessarily. I think it could be easily like something huge in the meta, similar to Dark World. So yeah, but yep, that's the deck profile and the deck discussion, and that'll be all. Channel MST signing off.